Gonna find my baby, gonna hold him tight, gonna catch some afternoon delight.
Something, something, something. When it's wrong, it's right.
Ah, you fucking weren't ready for that shit.
Afternoon delight. Ooh, sky rocket inside. Afternoon
Afternoon. Right, we're
delight.
in, dude. We're locked in. I'm doing some fucking pretty sick training at the minute. I'm going up to my mates and he's got some weights and stuff in his garden. Is this one of his mates called Ambo? He trains for competitions, but it's like it's not bodybuilding where you're absolutely massive. It's the competitions where you're really shredded and it's like it goes off like aesthetics and looks, you know what I mean? So they're looking at that. It's not all about massive muscles. It's about like symmetry and stuff like that. But it's the
Yeah,
same.
classic physique. Is it called classic physique?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'll have to find out. But what he was saying is you don't wear
Wear
them.
board shorts. You wear board shorts that cover your
Yeah,
quad.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He's saying you don't wear ridiculous fucking
panties.
panties, pantyhose. He was saying,
So he's not a gigantic gorilla with a raisin penis, because they all like the bodybuilders where they got like where they got them like G strings on. They just always look like
you
they
know
got
what,
giant.
Matt? You know, whenever you see that, what makes me laugh? They're just fucking, the quads are absolutely enormous where they're just fucking chafing, touching right down the leg in the middle. And then you've got this ridiculous, tiny little triangle of cloth that's covering up the whole cock.
Yeah,
And it's probably not even that they've got a small penis, but they're just so big, the proportion. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Like you could probably have like a 6.5 inch dick on a flop, and it would be yeah, it would still look like a little bumblebee. Like you got a little bumblebee
That
penis.
fucking piece of cloth, it reminds me of like, it's like, reminds me of like the size of one of them green triangles in a box of Quality Street. Like it's fucking just so small, and it's literally. I wonder if I wonder if it bothers them the first time they ever stick them thongs on. I wonder if they think fuck wearing them, or because everyone else is doing it. I wonder if they just think, ah, it don't matter. We all look stupid, kind of thing.
Just, just them in the back of the locker room, pumping up together, being like, yeah, like bumping chests, high fiving in their little, and then like, someone's like, you don't think this is gay, right? And they're like, what? No, this is what? No, what are you talking about? This
Slapping
ain't gay.
asses on the way to the shower. Come on, good job.
Yeah, woo! Measure swapping thongs and stuff. Oh, my one don't fit me, and they swap it
As you
over.
go further, as you go further into the locker room, no one's addressing the fact that it's really fucking. There's really like a fucking um the straight people, but they're so connected to one another. Like as you go further in the locker room, it's just getting deeper and more like fucking. Starts off, you go in and it's just high fives, and then as you go more
Dude, here's
towards the
what you're
shower,
trying to do right now. You're trying to not be homophobic, and you're trying to be like, aren't you? I can see it,
yeah,
dude. You don't relax, man. You get on a pod and you don't relax. You're like, okay, can't offend anyone, so can't say anything about
yeah.
Asian
Basically, what I was getting at, what I was
people. That's
getting
where
at,
you're like the connection you go through. What you wanted to say is you get in is super gay in there, like, but you
yeah.
didn't. Like I could, yeah, I know you, dude.
You get in, and as you go
Just
further in, it's just like,
connections which are of a feminine nature, or
yeah,
no, no, feminine, not feminine. No offense, girls out there listening. Yeah, I love you. I'm a feminist. You're
yeah,
gonna
it's
be a
just like fucking. There's just blowjobs and everything going on, but it's like they're just really fucking. They're really determined to take the view that there's nothing gay going on in that room. Do you know what I mean?
oh, dude. It's just yeah, it's just camaraderie.
Yeah.
There's actually don't worry, it doesn't matter.
There's what?
No, because I was there was because now I was like, if I do say this, I have to find the video. Some guy and he preaches that you're not gay if you suck dick and stuff and you fuck guys, like you're not gay, and but I don't know. I'll just never be able to find the video. I seen it on another podcast where they were talking about it, and I just found it hilarious.
What's he saying? If you sucked a penis but didn't enjoy it, then you're still straight.
Not even
like that. Yes, I sucked his dick, but I hated every minute of it.
I threw up 9 times. I threw up.
I didn't want to do it. I just did it.
I had to. Why?
Well, who else was going to do it? You know what I mean?
What do you mean, why? Why what? Why the stars are so bright? Why is the moon blue, you know?
Why is water wet?
Huh?
Why is water wet? Stop asking stupid questions. What do you mean, why did I suck his dick?
This fucking guy. Where did he get this guy?
Can you believe this guy asking me why I sucked it? He's not even part of the team and he thinks he's got it all figured out. Tell me what possessed. So on my tattoo page, I've been like following people, like a certain amount of people every day to try and boost my following. And I told you about it, didn't I? I was like, yeah, if you follow some people every day, it's getting like your profile noticed a bit more. And you've gone on our casual journey profile, and you've gone absolutely to fucking town. Dude, I imagine you've literally been like that. You've been holding your phone and you've been just going, just following everything because you've had our account blocked.
Palming family members off as they go, oh no, dude, oh no, get fuck off, man, get out the way. Yeah, dude, I was the first person to know about that. I was following people when you were in your mum's stomach, dude. That's what happened with me.
But
was I got a load of followers and then I decided, well, for me it was that banning. I think it was just not working for me. This was a while ago. Yeah, I didn't know that little key ingredient. You can't follow over 100 people. That was a key ingredient.
Well, what I read up on it, and it's basically saying that if you're on Instagram and you're just following shitloads of people all the time, then that's a form of spam, innit? So what Instagram will do, that they've obviously got some sort of, I don't know what the set amount is, but what they think is an acceptable amount of follow requests to put in a day. And what I've grown to the conclusion of, if you follow 100 people a day, you seem quite safe. I've done it for a couple of weeks and I've not been banned or anything, but God no, you must. I said, because I count them. I just count every morning and just follow there or thereabouts. But you must have fucking gone to town.
I'll tell you why, dude. Because at the one part of one thing that I learned from therapy was to reflect on the end of the day, at the end of the on the evening. And when I smoke weed, I reflect naturally. And Perry and I talked about this. He said, like, yeah, it's a tool. Like, you smoke weed and you just will reflect. You won't even try. It'll just come in your head. You'll think about the time you interact with people and you reflect on your life and whatnot. And when I reflected on like my day, I'd realized patience was the reason why. And like the reasons why I get myself in a lot of bother is because of a lack of patience. And I think patience, as I grow older, like I'm like, oh, it is a key ingredient in life. Like whenever, so one of the things I'll try and do is in the morning I'll try and clean, and I'll try and have like almost like I'm in a monastery. I'll have like my temple chores. I got to do like different chores, and if I'm patient, then I can clean properly. But if I'm in a mindset of like, oh, come on, get this done, or then I start to take shortcuts and things start to, and it's the same with like, if you brush your teeth, you can keep the sink and whatnot, everything clean. And if you are patient, like if you're patient in everything I'm doing, I'm going to do proper, and I'm not going to like splash the tap on real quick and get it everywhere. And so it's when I followed those people, I woke up and my girlfriend brought me up on it. I woke up and I got straight on my phone, which I never do. And she was like, and I started following loads of people, and she was like, what are you doing? You're never on your phone like first thing. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of, I want to do this real quick. I want to sort of follow these people. Told her what I was doing. And that was just a patience thing, because if I'd woke up properly and not been on my phone, I know that if I'd have gone on it later on, I probably would have just followed like 100 people and left it. Because I knew what you said. I remember you saying it was 100 people, but I just followed a fuckload of people. And then when I had a look, it was like 100 and 67 or whatever it was. It wasn't that much. 2.2 million.
Yeah.
I'm following 2.
I only followed 960 people in an evening. It's not that many. Fucking hell, what? Who cares? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, dude, it was 273 people. No, it's 273,000. 273,000. Tomato.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyone else that's like new knowledge, because obviously new knowledge to me. I've always known that if you follow someone on Instagram, the likelihood of it is they probably won't follow you back, but they may do. But if you target follow certain people for me,
Careful target, Paul, remember?
Yeah, so for me, I'm a tattooist. So at the moment, I'm following some people that are following other tattooists in sort of my area or this like the Northwest. So that's my attempt at just getting noticed by people that might be a customer to me, because, and I'm not too interested in the followers themselves. I'm not bothered about like if I gained 30 followers or 100 followers. That's less important than the workflow. So if I'm getting more requests and more messages, that's more the success of what I'm trying to do, if that makes sense. So, but you need a good following to get more work. So they go hand in hand, don't they? It's the same with like, it's growing your audience, isn't it? So that someone might add you on Instagram, and if you're providing a service, if you're a tattooist, personal trainer, you could get added, and they might not message you for a year or however long, but eventually they're still a potential customer. Do you know what I mean? If they're seeing your stuff and thinking, oh, that's quite nice. So I just thought it was brilliant, because like, I don't think it's so much an impatience thing. I think you more just went off what I said, didn't you? Whereas when someone told me about it, I researched into it. I thought, right, what are the parameters here? What are the boundaries? What can I do and get away with on this? Because I knew as soon as this girl said to me, oh, you can boost your profile by following more people, I thought that's not okay. If there has to be a limit to that, because what's to stop you following 1,000 every day? Do you know what I mean? I knew there was rules involved with that. I knew there would be, so I started researching them. And we was having this conversation last night, weren't we, where we were saying like, because I'm doing this clothing thing at the minute, one thing that I struggle with.
I can tap out now because I've heard this.
What's that?
I can tap out now because I've heard this.
Yeah, well, I'm not re-saying the same thing.
Okay. You got to spice it up for me. You got to throw a couple of curveballs in there.
Yeah, just fucking take my top off or something and do a pet dance while I'm re-saying.
Mean dragon. Give me the mean dragon.
This is gonna get a little weird. Yeah, so as I was saying to you the other night with this clothes, when you're getting a service off someone, so if I'm say you're a car mechanic or whatever, and I take my car to you and something's broke on it, and I think, right, well, you're telling me, right, something inside this engine needs a bit of work, this has happened. Because it's new to me, that I don't understand it, the way I am is where I need to research so I can have an intelligent conversation about that with you, so I can at least understand what it is. Like if it's a part of the engine, I might not fully understand why it's. Are you with me? So I'll go away and I did the same thing with them fabrics with it when I was speaking to this guy, because he was basically saying, what do you want your stuff made out of? And up until that point, you've heard of like cotton and stuff like that, but you don't like, I didn't fully understand like these other terms and different things. So I had to like read up on it, and I'm still not dead clued up, but it meant I was able to have a better conversation with this guy about it. Do you know what I mean?
Do you then retain the information, or do you just lose it after a while? So let's say this mechanic was like, oh, there's something wrong with the alternator, then you'd research that, you'd find out information, and then if 4 years from now someone mentioned alternator, would you be like, kind of, you've just got rid of that information?
Probably not. I might remember something about it, but you're not gonna remember all the research you did, are you?
Like the understanding will be gone, won't it? Like
On some level, yeah. Unless if it's not reoccurred at any point to you, if you say something crops up to you in your day and it's just, I don't know, for example, fucking, I don't know, like something that's unlikely to ever happen again, or I don't know, you drive past a certain thing, or you witness something, and you depends on how important that thing is, isn't it? Because if it never crops up in your head a while later, like a year later, you're gonna totally forget it ever happened, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do it. I'll read something in a book, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's fascinating. I remember that. It's about an orca whale, about how it dreams," and I'll be like, "Oh, I remember that," and then it just a couple of weeks later, it's gone.
Well, that's just it. You know, when I was saying to you then about like so if I'm struggling to understand something, I have this thing in me where I feel like I need to know it or understand it, so I can do research based on it. But where I struggle, when there's too much information, I struggle with it. So I have to cherry pick and squash it down. So what I'd start to do is I'd read a bit of a paragraph about something, start reading it, and it'd mention a word, and I thought, what's that word? So then I'd Google that word, and you'd start to develop a bit of knowledge on that. But with books, I mean, you read quite a lot of books, but with me, when I'm reading a book, I find a lot of the stuff you're reading, as you got to page 37, how much of page 1 do you really remember? Like, are you with me? Like, for me, when there's a shitload of knowledge and you're just reading the words on the page, I don't know. Like, that's where I struggle with books, because I find that unless I read really slowly, if I try and read at quite a decent speed, then I don't retain the information, and I just read it as words. Whereas if I read quite slow and read a page down, then I'm taking it in more. But that makes me a shit reader, to be honest.
For me, it's changed. My philosophy on reading has changed. I think the importance of like retaining knowledge is, it doesn't mean fuck all. It doesn't matter. For me, what it is the ability to apply it now. Like what I find is, if I read a book and I really want to apply it, I just accept the fact that I'm not going to be able to apply it immediately. I'm just not that person. I'm not, and weed helps, dude, because I'll let's say I'm reading about some sort of like growth where you try and recognize a certain emotion that you feel every single day or whatever. That might be like a cycle. Like you might get angry and then, okay, I feel this emotion. Okay, what are the thoughts in my head? What are they saying when I feel angry?
Yeah.
Then you start to recognize, and it could be a book on that, and it can go into depths on like, how do I think, how do I feel, how do I act? So it's like, how do you think when you're angry? How do you feel when you're angry? Is it an agitated anger? Is it a sad anger? Is it what, how do you act? What do you do? And then like, and for me, I find if whilst I'm reading it, if I also every now and then, if I smoke weed and I meditate on it, I'll naturally start to like recognize it and reflect it and feel it and see it. And I'll just read it a few times as well. I'm more than happy to like read a book more than once, like or not a book, it's so say like, well, The Power of Now, I've read like multiple times. I read all the time. I pick it up because I always want that in the forefront of my mind. It's a refreshing thing to have, to know that I can go to a place at any point where I don't have any thinking and all the suffering goes for seconds at a time. So The Power of Now for me is one that I always go back to. But I read the Practice in the Power Now because it's just like little things you can do.
Sometimes less information is more, isn't it? Because if you fucking absolutely bombarded with massive pages of information, sometimes little bullet points that hit home a bit faster, don't they? Like I put the audio book of Power of Now on, and it's fucking long, mate. And you're listening to it and he's saying interesting things, but then he rabbits on for ages, and like you find the information pretty shit, and then he'll say something really good again. And what you find is probably everything he's saying's important and interesting, but he's speaking so long. So
You know why that is?
So what I found was better in that respect. I watched The Power Now Explained on YouTube, and it's a 7-minute clip, and it explains his full book in a shorter way. Like, so it's highlighting the main points of that practice, and rather than, because you can zone in and out, can't you? Like, especially if you listen, like I didn't pick the book up and read it. I had an audio book, just loaded an audio book on YouTube, and he started off and explaining what, like, being in the now, and trying to explain he was trying to explain the voice in your head, but then he just went off speaking, and I found that I was drifting in and out of what he was saying, and like, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
you know why that is, dude. You know, with the do you know why? I agree. Every book has a few gems in it, and then it'll have a load of fucking bullshit wrapped around it. The book I'm reading now has the exact same, where every time he starts to fucking repeat himself, I just skim through it. And what it is the printing press said that people wouldn't pay good money for a few pages, because like most books you could probably just like what's the fucking, yes, I love it when I'm on point for a podcast and no fucking words come to me. You can distill it, I don't fucking know, you can compress it, you can
sit down.
Yeah, you can condense it into like 25 pages, but the printing press is like, who's going to pay for 25 pages? I think that's bullshit. I think that's the way to go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to write a fucking I'm going to write 10 books and they're all going to be 25 pages. And I'm going to start a fucking new thing going where people are just like, yeah, I don't want to waste anyone's time. Here it is. Here's the fucking point. Here's the idea that I'm trying to get across to you, rather than like,
Nick, we can just steal the best page of every book you've ever read and just make it one book. It literally goes to the next page and you're like, what the fuck is he on about? Page one's like The Power of Now, and then the next one's 50 Shades of Grey or something. Yeah. Goes from the power of being in the moment to like some guy doing some weird bondage on some bird. Like, what the fuck? How's this even happened? Concentrate on your mind and thoughts, and then he whips her with a big black dildo.
Yeah, Craig's whips her with a black dildo. Craig then tweaks his nipples, and then you turn it over and it says the oranges, and it's like just talks about the oranges in Italy, and it's like like a really fascinating book that you read on like Italy and how they grow their fruit. Yeah, they what I was gonna say, what I think, why I like reading books also, I think you download the consciousness whilst you're reading it, or a little bit of their consciousness. So if I read a book by this guy called Thich Nhat Hanh, which is this monk who looks like a baby. He's like, when he smiles, he's like missing teeth and stuff. He's so old, he's like 200 years old. And when you read his books, and like there's other books, obviously any monk books out there as well, like others, when you read their book, you just have a piece. It's just like you're reading the words, and then you can feel the piece inside you. So that's why I like reading them as well, as opposed to audios, because you can download their
you can feel the piece inside you. And then he slipped off her knickers and with red nipple tassels just goes back into 50 Shades of Grey. And you're like, shit. You got to like the finishing page and you thought, fucking hell, I've utilized all these really philosophical books. I don't know what else to end it with, and you just happen to get a snippet from like a Stephen King violent fucking page from like a murder novel, and it just ends really brutally, and it's like described beautiful orange.
Ends with a girl getting turned.
What?
Ends with a girl getting turned. Ends with a girl getting turned inside out by a vagina. So like her head gets pushed through, and it all goes through to the shins are inside out. And that was like going from like, watch your mind and be mindful of how you treat others, and you know, like every action has a reaction, you know, a fucking cause and effect.
And then there's just someone getting chopped up. Dude, have you seen that fucking Don't Fuck with Cats?
Yes.
So I've not seen it.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was just that. So I've not seen it. I have put it on, and then
Right.
and what happened is I put it on again while I was tattooing somebody. So I've heard it all going on in the background, but not watched what's going on. And what I gathered from it is some weird fucking dude in a mad country. Doesn't he starts torturing a cat, and then don't angry people on Facebook start trying to track him down, and then doesn't it leads to him killing someone or something? Doesn't he send body parts to like some official building? Like when you listening to something, but you're not always watching it, and it like a lot of it's to do with seeing what's going on. I was taking in bits of it, and everyone's banged on about it, saying it's proper good and stuff. So
it is good. I watched it a while ago, so I don't really recall. There's another thing though that's really good. No, actually, yeah, he did send a hand to a government building, I'm pretty sure. But another thing, dude, Night Stalker.
I've seen that with that fucking what's he called?
Richard.
What's he called? Lee Ford or something. That weird, creepy fucking.
What's he called? Paul Denniston Tattoos.
Yeah.
Hotmail.
He was fucked him, man. He was literally going into fucking sneaking into houses, shooting the fucking guy, and then raping the woman, man, and killing the woman
and kids. Yeah, it was it's fucking yes. This podcast is fucking awesome.
Keep going.
Fuck it. I give up.
Open your van door and go and sprint to the end of the road and come back.
We're gonna do hill sprints in there.
Ram shuttles. Just smash that ass against the back seat of your van.
Fuck this.
Come back, you pussy.
Why is anyone listening anyway? I even lit a fucking salt lamp as well. Fucking.
I'm losing your.
You're no good.
I'm losing your. Are we wearing a vest?
No, but might as well be. It's a very small t-shirt.
What the fuck is that t-shirt?
I fucking dude, you know you talk about research. So I'm doing my own I did my own research with the t-shirts by fucking buying them and getting sent them, but only one at a time. And this is the one that didn't make it to the car, but obviously I still got it. I still wear it. But yeah, I want one that's.
Why are them arms so ridiculously sharp?
Like as if it was made for a fucking.
Like you've borrowed it off your missus. Like you've woke up late to do this podcast, and you're like, shit, getting out of bed, but your girlfriend's sleeping in, and you're like rooting around the floor, trying to find clothing to put on, and you're like, this'll do, thinking it's yours, and it's just a gay little fucking like skim little fucking vest top.
The next podcast, I turn up with like with fucking shoulders. Turn up with fucking shoulders. Yes! Why can't my fucking brain work?
You know why I think you're not working today?
What do you mean?
Do you know why I think your brain's not working? Because your beard's starting to creep back in.
Is that it?
It needs whipping off again. It's slithering across your face.
Like, nah, I'm growing it now, dude. It's good right here.
Are you actually going to grow it back out?
Yes.
What's your intentions? What's your intentions with my daughter?
This is my niece. This is what is it? This is my niece. This is our friend. Get amongst it.
Get amongst it. Yeah, that.
Do you remember?
Of course, yeah. I remember.
Paul and I, when we were in the army, we went to this do that you have in Nottingham. We had to I don't fucking know. You have things on.
We went to this doing nothing. Like, I don't fucking know.
It's just shit, innit? It's not shit. It's good fun, but like you just have to go for a lot of meals and stuff. You dress up in your 1s and 2s, and you go for meals. And we went for a meal, and there was a northern dude. Where's he from? Like, he was so funny. Like, he was like, all right, lads. He started talking, so he goes, and he was like there was 2 girls, like, and he goes, that's my niece. That's my niece. That's a friend. Or what did he say? Daughter. I think
they were his daughters.
Yeah, that's my daughter. That's a friend. Get amongst it.
He goes. This is my daughter. That's my other daughter. Get amongst it. He was about 80 as well, telling us to crack on.
And then you said that you were from. You said you were from Stockport, and he goes, Stockport. I thought it was closed.
So I went there once. It was closed. Like the whole town's just like a bar.
Water park.
Yeah. What's your plan for the next set amount of weeks till the gym's open? This fucking announcement. Do you know what's mad? They were doing that announcement, and for Monday, and I hadn't seen it all day, and then I've convinced myself that I'll be opening up back to normal, like in the next couple of weeks. I've been getting messages off people. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I'll be open in the next couple of weeks, because of this announcement. And then he's turned around and said, fucking April the 12th is a possibility to open again. And I think that's the same with gyms, isn't it?
I think at this point, hopefully there's no other lockdowns. But at this point, all you got to do because it's been the same every time, dude. Look at the government grant, and when it says that the government grant ends, that's when we'll open back up. And the government grant ends in April this time. And before it was, you could claim in December. So it was like, okay, I reckon we're going to open up in December. So it's like every time you can claim the government grant, you just have a look what time, and then that's when we'll open. That's what it's been so far. What I've noticed on it so far. But my plan for the next 7 weeks is, I reflected on how much work I've done during the first bit of lockdown, and I was like, am I happy with it? And one of the things I wasn't happy about was I don't think I'm using the fact that I'm quite free to my advantage. I mean, I'm not free through a lockdown, but like I haven't been going to more places. Like I've visited new places, but I've always made sure that when I'm working, I'm in a set place. So I know I got signal, and whereas what I could do is I could fuck off. Dude, do you know there's a pyramid in Scotland?
Really?
Yeah, I seen this.
A pyramid, not an Egyptian one, but a similar structure from a different group of people. That's nuts. Where is it?
It's in a forest, dude, in the middle of nowhere, and it's so it's in Scotland, not like real north of Scotland. So. And I've always wanted to visit it, and I'm thinking,
Googling this shit.
Type in. I'm
just gonna put in pyramid Scotland.
Yeah. And dude, it's crazy because you can type it on the maps.
I put pyramid. I put the word pyramid S. The suggestion says pyramid scheme. That's one of them fucking silly things, isn't it? Where you fucking ask people to join.
Yeah, type in ready? Type in Balmoral Keynes. I think it's Keynes. Type in, dude.
I've got it. I've got the picture of it.
That's it's been mad. Cool, isn't it? Let me get up on it.
It doesn't look very big though, dude.
Nah, it's not big, but
hang on, dude. It looks about as tall as about 10 people. It's quite fucking small, really, isn't it?
It is, but it is cool.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. It's just when you said pyramid, I was visioning some massive structure where each stone's like the size of a bus. Rather than made out of little pebbles.
Have I just got rid of it? No, I haven't. So why has that not come up? There you go. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, imagine that was it.
Click this one down it. Yeah. Like it's literally you want to do a 7-hour drive and a big skirmish to go and visit this little staple or whatever.
But that's it, dude. So it's a 10-hour drive. It's 10 hours, so I do 5 hours each
There's
day.
that one next to it to the right. Click that one because there's a nice size guide, like a comparison in relation to the size of a dog. It's like there's a pyramid in Scotland that I really want to check out. It's slightly bigger than a golden retriever.
but not as big as a boxer dog.
Yeah. there's a really niche fucking close proximity. Like you go for a slightly bigger dog and it's like you're like, yeah, it's bigger than a golden retriever. And you're like, bloody hell, bigger than a Rottweiler. No, not bigger than a Rottweiler. It's like it's just fucking there's an in-between.
And you find, bigger than a Labrador, and then you get up there, and the Labrador that you've taken is bigger than it, and you're like, well, this is a particularly big Labrador.
Labrador puppy slash Yorkshire Terrier. It's just a fucking it's literally just one. It's not even a series of stones. It's one stone that nobody's even made. It just happens to have a little point on it and be shaped slightly like a pyramid. It has there's no situation where someone's made it and it's impressive.
Just get there and it's a fucking box with a lid on it, with a pointy lid.
Yeah, it's made out of cardboard.
What do you think though, dude? Like, because I was like, because my mind's a bit like, I was like, I'll just go out there, that'd be cool. 2 days out there, 2 days. And then people start saying, you might get pulled over and sent back and stuff. And I was like,
I don't know. You don't want to ask a really deep conspiracy theorist, like stoner person, what they think of the pyramid in Scotland, because they'll say it's like proof of aliens or some shit, won't it? Yeah, well, aliens came down, taught us how to build the pyramids, and then, like, how would you get pyramids in Egypt and in Scotland? They couldn't even travel across the water. Like, it's just these ridiculous fucking. Like, imagine if they connected that tiny little pyramid that's slightly bigger than a golden retriever as proof that the Egyptians travelled across the sea and crafted this pyramid. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, it's all a big conspiracy, man. That's what they want you to believe.
The pyramid's not even there.
Yeah.
So I might do that. It depends, because I don't want to go up there. Imagine I got 8 hours out there and sent back, I'd be gutted. So I want to go up there, but and like now's a good time. I know it's lockdown, but now's a good time because I can drive up there, train clients via virtual workouts in the van on the way there. Spend
literally whilst you drive. You like driving, but you're following a sat nav as well, and you've got this woman's voice coming out the car going like, "At the roundabout, take your first." At the roundabout, take your first left onto the A64, and then you're just like, "Yep, 3 more reps, keep going, last 10 seconds." So you clearly just drive into Scotland to see this fucking stupid ass pyramid. Smithy's having a baby today, dude.
Is it?
Physically having the baby.
Yeah, he's gonna pop out his bum off.
I got to tell you, he used to be a woman. It's quite fucking.
It's
quite endearing. No, it's like. Do you know what's weird? Especially we're like hitting like. We're 30 now, and obviously we're hitting like we're getting on in terms of like we're not kids anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like. Even when you hit like your early 20s, like 21, you feel like you are mature and you're an adult, but you're still sort of young, aren't you? You are fucking technically an adult, but you still are young in a lot of ways. But like now Smithy's having a kid and stuff, it starts to make you think like, fucking hell, but I need a kid soon. Do you know what I mean? Like you start thinking like when people around you are having babies, you start feeling like you're behind in terms of like, fucking hell, I'm the same age and these are all having kids. Like, what if I need one? Do you know what I mean? It's not the right way of looking.
Nah, that voice is a fucking bitch, dude. Like,
Women call it being broody, don't they?
yeah, broody. Yeah, I was broody at one stage, for sure. Definitely.
You've been broody over this little pyramid, you little fucking broody motherfucker.
Yeah, pyramid, triangle,
Just
broody.
seen an image of this pyramid, and I've just really wanted to have a pyramid.
Want to give birth to a pyramid. What about a square? No, 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 no. You're not listening to me, Paul. Pyramid. Pyramid. Yeah, dude, the inner critic's a fucking bitch, dude. Like, I got this voice. Do you have this voice? I've got I've got multiple voices in my head. And one of them is the inner critic. So it's the one that it'll be like, oh, you're not working hard enough. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, all right, I'll work harder then. And then when I start, and then if I'm working really hard, it starts to go, oh, life to balance, mate. It looks like you're working a bit, and you just cannot fucking make this voice happy. Like, do you have that? Do you have the inner critic as well? Yeah, that voice that makes you.
Yeah, do you know? Imagine if you could fucking, you could. I don't know. There was some like app on your phone or something that could change your inner voice to whatever accent you wanted, and you could just choose an accent that you find hilarious, like a Scotsman or fucking, I don't know, something. So even when you that inner voice is saying negative shit to you, still find it funny. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's all gonna go horribly wrong. Horribly wrong.
I put my fucking dick in the owl.
Yeah, that was the weirdest fucking video ever.
Oh no, Lee, you can't be doing that. No, Lee, you can't be doing that. You gotta work harder. Yeah.
Have you noticed? Have you ever? You've never wore glasses, have you?
No.
Mate, nothing in the world can fucking smear the smudges off this fucking glass, other than that little square of felt that you get in a glasses case, which you never happen to have on you. Like, why would you just be carrying that fucking daft case around in your pocket? Do you know what I mean?
You want to borrow mine? I just pull out a felt from my.
Why you was gonna do that dead shit thing when people go, yeah, I've got this here. Go in the pocket and just do that. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got this. That thing, yeah.
Dude, I've named my inner critic. I've called my inner critic Karen.
Karen. Why Karen?
Because it's I want to speak to your manager. You know, like the meme. Have you caught up with the meme yet? Are you there, Granddad? There's a meme that's like, this has been going on a while now, where it talks about there's a type of lady and they call her Karen, and it's the one who has like short hair and always wants to speak to the manager.
Yeah, there's just like a fucking moaner. Just wants to moan about everything.
Exactly, yeah. Just like never happy, just always wants to bitch about stuff. And you know, if they go to like the restaurants, they'll flex the fact that they're always right because they're the client or they're
the meal comes out and it's took 5 minutes too late, so that they complain that the meal's too cold. Then they take it back and then they bring it back out and then they scold them out and say it's too hot. You can't win with Karen. She's a bitch.
No, she's a bitch. Dude, let's name your inner critic. Mine's called Karen. And my anger, I've named it Hurricane Katrina, because when I'm angry, if I act on it, it's never like, I don't ever be like, oh.
That was funny this morning when I was driving to the opticians and I said to you on the phone, like, isn't it weird in adult life? Like, you never ever get into a fight, do you? Like, as adults, you never get into any sort of bother. And you was like, well, I did nearly have a fight on Saturday. You know, when you said that, I literally knew it was something to do with driving or your lorry or some shit like that. People get crazy amounts of road rage, don't they?
And people, and as well, dude, with this co-op thing, when I think there's certain jobs that you're in where you're naturally kind of like, you can do certain jobs where like judgment is definitely this, like, you're a tattooist, so a lot of people will be like, oh, that's a cool job, you know, oh, I'm a tattooist, oh, wicked, man, that's cool. Like, and then there's other ones, like, I know that with the lorry driving, people can like, and I said this when I got to the shop, I said to the lady, I said, when you've, and there's a guy outside smoking, I said, and he also worked for Co-op, and I said, when, and I'd had like a hell of a day, dude, horrible day. And I was like, I said, when the drivers get to you, let's say you get 10 drivers delivered to you, how many of them are miserable? And then she laughed and was like, 10 out of 10. And then like the guy laughed and said, yeah, I was going to say all of them. And I was like, yeah, okay, all right. And I was like, just so you know, they're not bad people. I was like, this job is not good. It's not a good job. Like I like I said to you before, I almost got in a fight with that guy. The way they, for some reason, the way they load it, it's just the cages have got two sides, and they've started now delivering eggs. So there's they stack the eggs up, but when they load it, they stack it as if like it's not going to be in transit, as if you're stacking it in a basement and it's just going to stay there. They just literally stack it up, and it's like, look at that, that's obviously going to fall. And like you'll drive, and the second drop I got to, there was just eggs, about 200 eggs splattered, glass splattered, and I was just looked at it, and it was, when you're overwhelmed.
Yeah, of course.
And I was just overwhelmed. I was like, for fuck's sake.
I think
and I was already set for a 12-hour day as well, so anything like that will just hold you back, and it'll
say anyone about a lorry driver that thinks like lorry drivers are dickheads or anything like that. It depends on like what the person's doing, because if you met a lorry driver in a fucking hot country and he's on his holiday in a beefer or fucking whatever, then you'd think he was top, wouldn't you? And say, oh, he's a great laughing. But then when you meet him fucking 40 hours into his week doing a shit fucking 12-hour drives in a lorry, fucking stuck in traffic, do you know what I mean? Getting the lorry stuck, then of course they're going to look miserable. I think it's that. I think, and this is one thing that I found really difficult about prison, is one thing that really tests a person is being bored for a long time. If you're bored for an hour, fair enough. But if you make someone bored for the whole day, they're going to feel shit. If you make someone bored for a whole week, they're going to feel even shitter. If someone's bored for months and even years, then that's when they're going to feel really depressed, isn't it? Like if everything you're doing is boring, there has to be a balance. You have to enjoy some of the shit you do. So, and a lot of people are in jobs that they don't enjoy, and a lot of people are in jobs where it gets to 2 PM and they're only excited because they finish at 5. They're not sort of thinking, oh, I've had a good laugh today, or do you know what I mean? So, them people where they are having like shit days, and they are sort of clock watching and wanting to get to the end of the day, their pleasure comes outside of work, doesn't it? Because if they're not happy at work or they're not enjoying the job, their pleasure will come in their downtime and their rest, and they'll sort of think, right, well, I've got work today, I can't really be arsed, I'm a bit knackered, it's going to be pretty boring, the day might go slow, they've got these visions of what it's going to go like, and then their redemption or their good feeling about it is the fact that it finishes at 5 and then they can go home and chill and do whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I think if someone is in a boring job or is in a job that they don't enjoy, they find their pleasure outside of that job, don't they? And they do have to do that. But if you can enjoy your job at the same time, no one in the world's completely happy all day, every day at the job they do. You're always gonna, if you have got a slightly more fun job or whatever, you're still gonna have days where you can't be arsed. But if you have got a more fun job, there is a better sentiment towards it, like where you're less inclined to be just wanting to get the day out of the way and think, fucking hell, it's only 12 o'clock, we've got 5 hours left. Like, you're more inclined to be like, I am tired today, I can't really be asked for the afternoon, but I could be worse. I could be fucking, I don't know, I could be a bin man or something. I don't know what it's like. It might be a boring job. Or
Yeah, I think comparison is a thief of joy unless you compare yourself to those less fortunate, isn't it? Like you say, like if I do that, I'll compare myself to the less fortunate. It does make me feel better as well. And like obviously having gratitude as well, that will help. You know what Perry said to me yesterday? I thought it was kind of cool. He was like saying about he was like, now what he tries to do, because he's the same as me, but similarly, he gets quite angry as well. And also, dude, recognize as well, like if anyone's listening and it's anger, recognize that it is emotion and it's not like you're not a bad person for it, like as well. Like if you get angry, you're not a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's like some people get, because I say this to, I said this to one of my friends actually, who's a PT, and I was saying to her, like, imagine if I said, the thing is, because she was saying about her, she was saying, we were talking about anger, and she was saying that she has it with like her boyfriend, and I was saying this a while back, and I was saying, I would love it if when I got angry I just cried. I said, because I wouldn't hurt anyone then. If I just got angry and cried, I wouldn't like, but I mean, instead I'm like angry and I lose my shit or whatever and say nasty stuff, and like, but then I was saying, but also how you'd never have a girlfriend, would you? Because I was saying, imagine if like I said to her, imagine you date a guy and instead of getting angry, he just breaks down and starts crying. You're like, the fuck is this dude? Like, what the fuck is this?
Getting rid of this pathetic motherfucker.
Yeah, straight away you'd be like, what the fuck? So it's like our go-to is almost like, as a man, it's a bit like you're not allowed, not that you're not allowed, but like, yeah, it's like, oh, you're pathetic if you just start crying. So it's like, it's almost like, because you can't have that. I don't know whether this is the case, I'm just making it up, but like, yeah, maybe that's part of where the anger comes from as well, because it's like you can't just start crying. You just say, it's like it comes from there.
I think what can often make someone angry is when they're disappointed with the events that are taking place around them. So I don't know, if work's not quite going to plan, or like you had a certain plan to get something, one of your goals isn't on target, or do you know what I mean? If you're not satisfying certain needs you have, or like I do struggle with relationships, and like one of my big things that I'm shit with is communication. And one thing like
by the way, this will help. Podcasts will help, won't it?
Yeah, of course, man. But where like you do struggle communicating, that's one of my weaknesses. But one of my strengths is I do stick to goals in terms of working. So it means work wise, I'm satisfied with what's going on. Like I feel good about work. I feel good about like my prospects with this clothing thing that I'm doing. I feel good about it because I'm satisfying my goals with it, and I'm satisfying thingy. But it does come a point where like your work life can interfere with your relationships and your personal life. And I think because you know where I've noticed this really recently, like I've had criticism in relationship for being so fucking focused on work, and so like almost putting it before everything else. And then I've not really noticed that I was doing that, but more recently, like even my new business partner with this clothing, he said to me the other day, he said, fucking hell, he said, you are like relentless with you. He said it in a way like, but in a jokey way, saying that I fucking pester him like a fucking like I'm in a relationship with him or something. I said, because he's saying like he'll wake up at like fucking 6, 7 in the morning, and he'll have like 50 WhatsApp messages, and I've sent him loads more stuff in through the night, and he's just like, fucking hell, just slow down, do you know what I mean? And it's like, but I can't help it because my mind goes at 100 miles an hour. Like, do you know, a lot of mine is when I worry about like remembering to do tasks. So when they enter my mind, I need to do it there and then. So I can be driving down the road, me, and think, bloody hell, I need to do a bit of research into these pants or anything like that. And then I can physically pull over my car and just start doing it there and then. And it's because if I don't do it, it'll slip my mind. Do you with me? And it's that way of thinking. It might make you do well at your business, and it might make it great for your work life because your work life is snapping up all your energy. But at the same time, it's fucking it's crap for relationships, because it just means that people around you are feeling like they're getting pushed aside for your personal stuff. Do you know what I mean?
You celebrate your success.
What's that?
You smell the roses.
What do you mean?
So like you,
gratitude, do you mean? Like be grateful where you currently are at, or
I guess, yeah, gratitude, and I guess like like if, let's say let's say you've got milestones, like for example, you set up the business with the tattoo, and did you kind of celebrate that and kind of like give yourself a pat on the back for that? And
yeah, because you obviously when you reach a new little thing, even if it's a small step, like when I got this shop, I felt better because I'd moved from the other place, and I had my own space that was mine. It was bigger, and I was putting money into doing it up. So you feel good, but
did you celebrate? Is what I'm saying.
I wouldn't say I celebrated, no. But what I did do is, you do recognise it, but I think with me, and I don't. This isn't me saying that I've got anything figured out or anything, but what I do is I can get quite anxious and worry about work if I've not ticked the box in certain things, and sometimes if I've not done something to do with work every day, and this is even weekends, can be a Sunday. If I've not done stuff work related, I start feeling guilty, like I've wasted time, and it's a bad way to look. It's a bad way to be, because it does massively interfere with your personal life. Because a big thing for me, what I think's brought this mindset on, is spending a couple of years in jail, because in my relationship, this was touched upon, and she said, one thing she did say is I think what I'm doing is feeling like I've lost all that time, and like I'm desperate. I'm not going to get the time back, so I'm almost like rushing everything, if that makes sense, because you feel like you've wasted time. So it's like you're trying to pull everything back and think, right, I lost out on that time, so I need to work twice as hard now to get into the place where I could have been, sort of thing. And you almost feel like guilty, because you think, right, I've got to turn all this round. Are you with me?
Yeah, man, for sure. It's cool. Like in NLP, it's called the ecology of a goal. So like when you set the goal, you don't just think about the goal itself, you think about how it affects your friends, your family, etc. And it's like these billionaire type characters like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, like they've probably got, well, they do have obviously an insane work week. And so like their ecology of like, if they're about changing the world and whatnot, and not necessarily about kind of relationships and families and things like that. And so like that's something to look at, because I do that with, and like I had like I want to be a millionaire for sure, like I 100% want to be a millionaire. And then it's like I got to go careful though that I don't, because I always try and go down these like get rich quick schemes as well. I go down the route of oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make a load of money doing this, and the idea I had with you literally the other day with the click competition, that with the competition thing, I had that idea, and then when I actually reflected on it, and this is what I love about weed as well, it tells you it's a bad idea, because I was like, okay, I reflected on it, right, is this someone I actually want? And then I thought about the logistics and what my life would look like and the ecology of the goal, like what's my life going to look like? And then I was like, I don't know if I'm necessarily passionate about it. So I was like, so I haven't taken action on it, because it's not the one true thing that I'm passionate about. It's not the one calling, maybe I will, if I keep having the idea, maybe I'll be like, right, okay, maybe I'll explore it more. But yeah, so I guess it's just to think about the ecology of the goal, but to smell the rose, to smell the flowers is important, because I heard about the celebrity, I forget his name, but a very hard working dude who died, and like on his deathbed he said he wasted so much. On his
deathbed, imagine if he was just on a surfboard. You know what was funny? He was looking up that, and you went, yeah, on his deathboard.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, deathbed. He said he said it's so much wasted time. And this is like some celebrity dude that was like, I forget his name, but he's like, did just like an insane amount of work. And like that then goes down to the mindset, doesn't it? It's like, that's your mindset. If you work hard, but it's never enough. And one of my therapists asked me that, and it was a good question. He said, do you think that, I was talking about my family members and whatnot, and there was one of my family members, and he said, do you think that he's quite demanding of you? And then, do you think you're quite demanding of yourself? And then I was like, and then when I realized, I was like, yeah, I think that's the right way of saying it. Like, you demand a lot from you, like, because I'd noticed like I said, with
That's
the
a good way of thinking about it. That's
it
again thinking about that inner voice as a separate
inner critic.
you yourself, and that inner voice is controlling you in that respect. And if it's demanding you to do things, and then that is in a way the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And then it doesn't make you happy, does it?
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone in the world doesn't want more money. Like, I think genuinely everyone would like to do more money, to do better. And I think with me, I've genuinely been down that road of leaving the army, breaking the law, getting in trouble, and that was trying to go down the route of relentlessly chasing money and trying to get rich fast and doing dodgy things, being a drug dealer, all that sort of shit. And what I'd realised is I got caught up in the wrong shit, and it didn't benefit me. It'd be like, I might have had good intentions with everything because I just wanted to be successful and thingy, but I went about it the wrong way. And what I do now is and it's meaning things go better for me, because what I do now is place more importance on the success rather than sorry, did you keep me there for a sec, Ben? Could you still hear me then? Could you still hear me then?
Yeah.
Sorry, my phone ran. Change the screen. Yeah, and I place more importance now on succeeding in business to become more important than the financials of it. Because I think if you focus on doing well at work and stuff like that, focus on having a good product, a good service, and growing as well, then the money comes after. The money will come to you if you don't focus so intensely on it. I think that you can almost be too desperate for it. I've been that person in the past where I thought, oh, I just want to get rich. I want people to think I've done dead well. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking hell, he's got quite a big business. He makes a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? He's doing really well. And that's where I changed my outlook when I came out of prison. I said, whatever pursuit I take, and I was pretty certain I was going to come down the tattooing route or being a PT, I knew that wasn't enough because I'd done the wrong thing in the past. I knew for me, the only option was to do more with business. And it didn't matter if I was making a shitload of money, as long as what I was doing was good. Do you know what I mean? And that's what my outlook changed in terms of, if I was doing tattooing, I was going to do the best possible job I could at it. If I was going to be a PT, I was going to be the best PT I could be. Do you know what I mean? And that's where my outlook changed, and I thought the money will follow that. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Focus more, and I don't know. That's what I'm sort of trying to do at the moment, where it's just the money's irrelevant, because if you are successful, then you can charge. If you're doing better at your job, the money will come. Like, I think people can become really desperate for money, and it's bad. It's bad when it's so important, it can become dangerous. So, like, because you can start doing things that are irrational, or doing things.
You lose sight as well of you lose sight of what's important as well. Like what I've noticed, what my what I've noticed from like my family, you know, just to shit on them a bit, just like my dad's rich, but he doesn't live rich. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? He's a million, but he doesn't. You wouldn't think it to look at him, you know. And like, not to go into detail about it, but like it's like therapy. So it's like, you know, I look at my mum's side, I look at my dad's side, and there's a completely different contrast. Like my mum doesn't have the money that my dad has, but my mum has a clean home. She goes on holiday multiple times a year. You know, everything, she's quite disciplined and she's on the path and whatnot. Whereas my dad's like millionaire, works crazy hours, nothing else outside, you know, just works crazy hours, does have good community. He's got like plays pool and stuff and has good friends and stuff. So he has that. But, you know, but it's so for me, what I've learned from my parents, along with many other things, is like, it's important to, and dude, I'm doing it now. Like I'm doing it now. Like, and I recognize that although I do, like I said, I do my temple chores where I clean every morning. I try and clean it, not every morning, but I do try and clean every morning. And
yeah,
so I'll work on my van. But the reality is I'm living like a poor person a little bit because I'm in a van. I'm not in a home, but
yeah,
I'm not lose. But then I got to remind myself, don't lose sight of what, you know, of what's to come in the future. I've got to go. But, you know, and so, um, yeah, so you can lose sight of it, can't you? You can lose sight of what's important when you just chase money. And even if you know that, if you're like, okay, I'm actually after the money, but how can I provide value to people? Then you still get the money.
yeah,
That's what's crazy. I seen a fucking that like that undercover billionaire where they have like 3 months to make a
yeah. You mentioned this. It sounds
yeah
decent, that,
make
doesn't
a
it?
£1 million business. Yeah, the lady straight away was like, she was just saying all the things that you expect her to say. She's like, I believe in bringing value to the community, and I just want to bring, you know, she was going after juicing. She's like, I'm doing a juice company, and you know, it's so important for me to have like value and to have community, and you know, I just want to provide just this goodness to everyone. And she was just saying like all the things that kind of like, you know, that like, it's funny that she says that, and then there was the other dude who was like, she's like, oh, you know, bringing value, and she knows the money comes, and the other dude's like, who literally says, who's got my money? And his attitude is, who's got my money? There's people out there, I'm going to make a £10 million business, who's got my money? And that's how he goes about it. And it's just interesting to see like the angles.
Yeah, yeah. So it's two totally different approaches to the same effect, and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
outcome is getting the money, in it,
yeah.
but the approach is different. And yeah, I think
After a week he got 12.5 grand as well.
nice. How much money
Yeah,
did they start with?
$100. Dude, what I liked about it is their ability, and my client and I have talked about this the other day. We said about, is it a personality trait? Because I think you've got the personality trait in you a little bit with what you say about the whole, you just fucking always go, aren't you? Always go. Some people can. I know people like that. I work with people that just always go. I'm not. I'm definitely not always go. I'm definitely like one of these people. Oh, dude. So I'm completely digression, but I'll hopefully try and bring it back around. So I listened to a podcast. It was amazing, dude. And I'm going to send it to you. The guy's name is Naval, Naval. And he talked about, dude, he says that he thinks that we work wrong, and we work like robots. 8 hours we do 8 hour days where we try and be productive for 8 hours and then we have time off. He says the way to work, and this resonated with me, is you sprint and then you rest and then you reflect, or you sprint and then you reflect and then you rest and then you sprint. And he says that's how you work. So you're just fucking bang, 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 bang. Then you reflect on the work you've done. How can it get better? What do I do right? What do I do wrong? Da, da, da. Then you rest and then you sprint. Dude, that appealed to me so much. That resonated the fuck out of me. I was like, that.
My issue is, and this is where it's a massive issue with my relationship, is I have to be doing something that's going to progress me at all hours of the day. Like I don't stop till I go. So even I'm laying in bed and I'm doing some kind of research. I'm looking at tattoos. I'm looking at equipment. I have to do something throughout the day, all day. And this is where I need to address this, because it's even when we was having the conversation, because like my relationship's broken down recently, she sort of said that can lead you to be quite it can lead you to end up being lonely, because who's going to want to be who's going to I was quite distracted. Yeah, it can lead you to being quite lonely, and it is a thing, isn't it, where you should have a cut-off point where you think, right, I've done enough today, I'm happy with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to have a couple of hours here and then do this, and then, I can make time for this. Like, you have to have discipline. You have to, if you're working too much and investing too much time, you have to have discipline to slow down. And if you're fucking lazy and hardly working, then you should have discipline to work a bit harder. Like, there's certainly a balance in this thing. And I'm very much on that end where I do invest too much stuff. It's like, even when I go around, I'll go around to my mum's now, and my mum will say when I go around, she says, you don't even talk to me. You'll come in the house, you'll say hello, and then every time I go to speak to you, you're doing something, like you're sending an email, or you get your iPad out and you're drawing a design for something. It's like, she's like, why have you even come round? You know what I mean? She's right, but I don't know. It's something I massively need to address. And I don't know if it's something I can get rid of. I don't know if it's something I'd need therapy for. I don't know if it's something that I do to mask my anxiety about life. I don't know. Can't figure it out. But all I can figure out is, at the moment, I put too much time into work-related things. And it's not all like, some of it's stuff that might never happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll put research into something that I might never even do, or do you know what I mean? But it's the action itself of looking into things, looking at every avenue, exhausting every possibility, and it's literally, because it's, for me, I think that after going to jail, I have to be successful. Like, I think if I'm not successful, then I feel like I've failed in life. Are you with me? Because I've done that bad thing of going to jail and messing up at a younger age. And it's maybe not necessarily the truth. I tattoo at the moment, I can earn good money. Like, this could happily be enough. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. And that's where maybe the gratitude thing that you said should play a bigger role. Are you with me? Where you sit back and think, right, well, what's going on at the moment's quite good. You're doing quite well with this, your work's fine. Stop worrying about things failing and feeling like you've got to put so much time into them failing. And one thing, when I did go doctors a while ago, I went doctors and I can't remember what it was for. It was for something else. But while I was there, I mentioned my anxiety and the fact that I do get anxious when I'm not doing anything. So it's like I have to stay occupied all the time, and it makes me very much here, there, and everywhere. Like, and the doctor did say that anxiety can be really good for making you progress in things, but it can be bad for obviously making you feel depressed and stuff. So she said some anxiety is not necessarily a bad thing, because it keeps you on your path. If you're not worried about things, if you're worried about fuck all, then how do you expect to succeed? Because if it doesn't worry you the possibility of failing, then that worrying helps you put the effort in. Do you know what I mean? So I do get it in a way, but I do think my anxiety plays a role. I think it's too much, if anything.
I think rest assured though that you recognize, because the first like almost the first pillar to change is the awareness of it, of the action. So like, now that you have recognized it in yourself, now that you recognize that, oh, I am quite multitask. Like my mind is quite multitask, and I'm constantly working. Like now there's room for you to change because you recognize it. You know, it's like it might take some time, but the fact that you've recognized it and you've brought, it's like bringing the unconscious to the conscious, isn't it? You bring the unconscious to the conscious, and then you can kind of
ever since you lifted your fringe out of your hair, then I've just been keep staring at it since you held it
up. And are you happy whilst you're doing all of this? Because I find I'm happy if I'm getting after it like you're talking about. I do find I'm happier.
Yes and no. Like I'm happy with certain things and I'm unhappy with others. Like I think if you sum happiness up on a whole, it's hard to distinguish because is someone happy in general, or are they happy right this second, or are they happy when they've eaten the dinner, or are they
happy doing what you're? Yeah, I know what you're saying. Are you happy?
Yeah, because happiness is a feeling that comes and goes throughout the day, isn't it?
Yeah. So what I should do is, are you happy doing it?
Yeah, to be honest, if I could slow down a bit, I think it'd benefit me massively, and it might even make me more efficient. Sometimes there was a Denzel Washington quote, and I really like this. He gave it in a speech, and he said, "Just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done." And
yeah, he's a bad motherfucker, that dude. Did you send me an acceptance speech or something? Because I seen it and it might have been on mind therapy, because you showed me something that was mind therapy, and I follow that Instagram thing anyway. And then
yeah, it was on that. Yeah, that wasn't where I got that specific quote from, but he says it in a speech.
Yeah, I had another speech. I seen another speech, and I really like what he talked about. I can't remember what it was. Fucking hell. There's no point in mentioning it when you don't remember, is it?
Yeah, he said this thing, and I can't remember what it was, but it was good when he said it. And if I could remember what he said, I'd tell you, but I just can't remember. And you just
don't bring it up then.
Even bringing it up is ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's go back to. Go on. Yeah, go on. What are you gonna say? No, let's go back to.
Let's go back to pyramids the size of golden retrievers.
Let's go. Have you read The 4-Hour Workweek or heard about it by Tim Ferriss?
No, you know what makes me laugh about you, and this is what I think all people do that are quite into books. They always name the author. Who gives a fuck who's wrote it? Do you know? Do you know what I mean? Like for me, you've read quite a few books, so you're familiar with quite a few authors. But because I've hardly read any books, I've read some books when I was younger and read certain books, but like I'll never understand who the author is. And you always reference it like.
Yeah, but
it's Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it depends. It depends who it is, because if it's an author that I know you don't like, if I say to you about God is an astronaut, I'm not going to give you the name of the author because I know that you're not going to know. It's a German guy with a German name, so you're not going to fucking know who it is. So I wouldn't do it. But the reason I said Tim Ferriss is because Tim Ferriss has loads of books and he's an entrepreneur and he's got YouTube and he's got podcasts. And if you actually if you seek him out and you check out who Tim Ferriss is, I guarantee you'll enjoy him and you'll enjoy what he's about.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I'll send you through the 4-Hour Workweek because it's
yeah, no, I'll have a look at that.
Cool, and it's a little one as well.
Is that a good time to finish, dude?
Uh-huh.
Right.
Love you, bye.
Peace out.